Okay, you made a decision. Now you have to act on it. Not so simple. Decision without a plan of implementation is useless. So then you go to the action. Who is carrying which part of the action pertaining to this decision? Not everybody can do everything, so you have to delegate. You have to go back to the intention and make a clear intention of implementation and focus it and give people tasks. And it's not enough to give people tasks. They have to be responsible to report on the tasks. So that's a time of delegation and implementation and the timing of it. And so you have to plan acting on decision if you're a collective. But it's not enough. That's the organization side. Very often, very good decision, done with consultation, even consensus, and delegated, not happening. So now it is back to the 7 dimensions of the wheel. I don't have to repeat all of them, just to help you to imagine it in relationship to the collective. If there is an instinct against the decision, a way will be found to stop it. And the instinct could come from anything. Could come from financial fear, could come from the fear of something new, could come from some trauma that in the past that school did something and it went wrong. It could come from somebody heard that this never works. If the fear is touched, you have to stop and negotiate with it. It'll stop you. You may not press on the brake, but somebody is lifting the arm brake and the car will not move. So instinct collectively have to be negotiated and named and dealt with. Next is energy. You all want to do a festival. You know exactly how it should look, but you're so exhausted by the time you come to it that nobody can lift a finger. And guess what? It's not happening. And we blame everybody. We just were tired. You have to free at least one person to do it whose job it is to do it. And the part of the job, preferably the paid job. If there's no energy, it will not happen. Which reminds you of money. Friends, money is energy. Money is appreciation. Money is not only what you take to the supermarket or put in the bank. Money is exchange of energy. And therefore, the finances have to be transparent. People have to know how the money is spent. People have to be in agreement, basically, or at least in agreement with how decisions made about money. I advise all organizations to be absolutely transparent about how they manage the finances. Not everybody wants to know, but if anybody wants to know, the books are open. And then people feel some responsibility for the overall finances and see where the party's in it. You don't have to share it with everybody, but with those who want to know. Teacher salaries is parents' business. So the money belongs to the energy, and when somebody suddenly has a third child, and the money you pay them before is not enough to feed them, there won't be energy there to join you in acting on decisions. Let's take care of the life force of our people. So all the schools particularly can neglect the well-being of people. People are exhausted and burnt out. Don't expect great action from exhausted people. And if chronically you don't act on your decisions, stop and realize you do something wrong. People are exhausted here. Don't expect great spirit to come from them. It's not right to exhaust workers. That's a second level of energy. Then, desire. Do you have a desire for that? Do you have enough desire for that? Okay, not everybody is kindled, but do you have enough of the teachers or whoever is in the group or the parents' community? Did you manage to get them to like these options? Because without desire, it's like a machine without lubrication. And it's a community thing. Next, there has to be clear motivation. You have to put the options on the table and motivate people for this decision that you already made. And show them why this one is so much better. You always have people who would vote differently, but there's a rationale. And you can be clear in the motivation to go there. And it's completely conscious. Should be no hidden motivation in collective decision. Then there must be enthusiasm. You must do something to lift the spirit. You can just do it brick on brick because they have to. It will look that way. There must be some way to lift the spirit to show how this act expresses the essential intentions, the spirit of it all. That's enthusiasm. They wish to do it together. Then there have to be clear planning, and the intention has to be incarnating. And so, step by step, back to the intention that should have been there anyway, but then in the delegation, collectively, you don't want gaps between the chairs. That something is not happening and everybody blame everybody else. So maybe a delegation is missing. Maybe the intention was not clear enough of how step by step this happens. Close the gaps. And then, of course, you have to go back to the decision. If it's not happening, did we make it in the right way? When things don't happen as you decided, it creates a sense of failure, personally, collectively, a lot of criticism, especially from people who expect results. Friends, when we don't do what we decided to do, we can incriminate it, or we can become more clinical about it. In other words, I gave you 2 times the 7 levels of the will. If we are practical about the inner life, which is the 3rd condition, we stop blaming, we stop and analyze what didn't happen. And we may be surprised that everything was in place, but there was no energy. And everything was in place, but actually there was split of motivation. And everything was in place, but nobody knows exactly who made the decision. All of these levels, each one of them can stop it. So instead of blaming and just feeling bad about it, stop and think, just a moment. The will did not flow into action. Let us look why. And stop blaming, but do something about it with the insight of the complexity of the will. Friends, I think I covered all the areas about individual decision making and individual acting on decision, collective decision making, and acting on the collective decision. Of course, it's not enough to talk about it. We have to do something about it. We will. But I don't have to repeat that while we're in the practical workshop. Decision-making process and the lack thereof. Clear action on decision or the lack thereof is a making or breaking of all initiatives, but especially of schools, and especially of all the schools. Let's not be clumsy. Let's be clear about the 5th condition for sustainable human development and use it to strengthen our collective spirit. Thank you.